Hi there, Stitchy friends. I'm Kat from Catkin and Lily, bringing you all the best tips, tricks and tutorials so you can get the most joy from your stitching. And in this video, I'm going to share a card making tutorial with you. It's something I love to do and I have a lot of experience with card making, so I'm really excited for this. I'm going to be using a kit that I sell in my Etsy shop, but as you can see, it's a Christmas one. And it's also limited edition, so you might not be able to get your hands on it. But don't panic, because you can follow this tutorial with any other pattern you have. You just need a few supplies, which I'll go through. So the kit has all the materials to create this cute snowman cross stitch, and also an aperture card, a circle of felt, and a little pack of embellishments. So there's some twine, metal charm, and a hand stamped sentiment. If you're not using the kit, then you'll have to get all these bits and pieces yourself, and I'll talk about alternatives as well as we go through the video. You'll also need some PVA glue, some sticky tape and some scissors. Once you've completed the stitching, you'll want to trim the fabric down so that it's going to fit in that section of the trifold card. So you'll want to make sure that the design is going to fit inside the aperture, but that there's a bit of card border all around the outside. And this is the same whether you're using the snowman or any other design. So now we're going to want to attach our square of fabric behind the aperture on the card. And the first thing to do is to make sure you have your card the right way up. So I like to label mine with the front so that you know that's the flap that's going to fold in to make your card. So when you place your aperture on top, you want that on the right hand side. So I like to do this by putting some PVA glue around the aperture, and then I'm also going to put a line of PVA glue, does not have to be perfect, around the outside of the fabric. So front flap to the right hand side, pop that over the top, and you've got a good bit of wiggle room with PVA glue that you can move that around until you're happy that it's where you want it. And you can press that into place. And that's now stuck on the inside. Now we're going to use the piece of felt to cover over the aperture. So pop that over so it covers. And I like to just stick that in place really quick and easy, just with a few pieces of sticky tape. And that'll be fine. Now you don't need to use felt, and if you're not using the kit, you can just cut any old felt to the right size. But it does, when it's finished, you'll see that it makes the design just pop forwards a little bit, which just makes it look really nice. Now it's time for the twine, and I've cut two pieces that are just a little bit longer than my card. And I'm going to place them together, decide where I want them to go. So I like it just a little bit over from where the aperture is. And I'm going to fold the top of that over. And then you want to tape these down on the inside. Now you can tape them just like that. If you get something pointy and use it to try to unravel the strands of twine, like so, you'll find when you tape it down that that will lie a lot flatter than if you'd left it as it was, and it'll just look neater when we put that flap down. So I've got it attached at the top. I'm going to pull it down. It's moved a bit, so let's push that over there. Make sure that that's straight. Keep it nice and tight. And again, we're just going to unravel that. Tuck that in and tape it down. So I've got my twine taped at both ends. And make sure that's nice and straight. And now the next step is to seal that front flap in place. So again, I'm going to use PVA glue. I'm going to put a line nice and close to the edge of this section, it can go over the top of the twine. And I'm going to put a second line. I do want this to get a really good seal, so right the way in, but I haven't put any in the middle. Then I'm going to fold my front flap in and press that down, and it's usually easier to do it if you flip this over. And this is the bit you just want to spend a little bit of time really pressing this to make sure that you get a really good seal all the way around. You don't want this popping open. Let's see if it's done it. Yep, that's pretty good. So, I have my card. Okay, on to the final embellishments. So, I've got the remaining piece of twine and the snowflake charm. And I like to knot the charm onto the twine first, so that will keep it secure. And then I like to place that one under there and that one under in the opposite direction so that it's looped around that piece. Get that one where I want it to hang. And then knot that again like that. And now your snowflake's going to hang nicely there. Now you need to tie the bow. Now, here's where I do something a little odd. I turn mine round because whenever I tie a bow, as you'll see, I end up with the tail ends poking out the top. So if I turn my card upside down, when I tie my bow, my tail ends are now down at the bottom. So this depends entirely on how you tie a bow. So have a play and see what works for you. And then I'll pull these very carefully until I've got that the size that I want. Fiddle with it a little bit more until I have that how I want it. And then if the ends are a little bit long, I could just trim those off like so. And that's that attached. And now I have a small sentiment. And this one is attached just by peeling that off. And then we'll just stick that in place on there. Now, if you don't have a sentiment, because you don't have the kit, you could just buy some sentiment stickers, or you could print something on your computer and cut it out. So that's your snowman card making tutorial, and I hope you can see how this could be adapted to any other pattern that you have. In fact, I'll show you another example I have here. It's basically taking exactly the same technique. Again, I've used twine, but no charm. I've popped some little shiny stars, and I've put the sentiment down along the bottom. So that's how easy it is to do. If you enjoyed this and you would like to see more card making tutorials or tutorials on making other finished items, then let me know in the comments because I'd love to do that. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, then make sure to subscribe because I have lots more fabulous stitchy stuff on the way that I wouldn't want you to miss. Thank you so much for watching, and happy stitching!